Yo guys, what's up? We're back with another podcast episode. This is episode 6 of this is a full-length podcast. It usually goes up on Saturday. Another bonus episode should be coming out next Wednesday. If today's the 15th, should be out. But this is going to be out on the 16th tomorrow. The next episode should be out by the 20th. We're back here again with my boy Shams, like 10 times in a row already.
You know the vibes.
He's basically a staple here on the podcast, you know. The Bad Vibes Only podcast. We gotta have the one and only Shams, you know. He's known for having only bad vibes, you know what I mean?
Oh really, huh? You're using this stage to tell me how you really feel? Let the world hear it. It's okay.
Damn. I mean, it's not really the world. We only got like an average of 10 viewers, so it's just those 10 people.
Let's pretend like we do. Because then when it is the world, we'll be used to it, all right?
Okay.
Matter of fact, you 10 listeners are the world to me. So.
Ooh. Whoa. Shams is just displayed his love for all of you. Oh no. Yeah. See, when Shams gets serious, it's over for everybody. It is over. Everybody be falling head over heels. It's okay, Shams.
Oh, stop it.
Anyway, the topic for today is I know this is like the worst topic ever. It's just we're just gonna be talking about quarantine and like the virus and shit in general, how stupid white people are, you know. It's just the usual. It kind of sucks though, like cuz every single person is talking about this. I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like freaking everywhere, you know what I mean?
Especially the news. Like, have you seen like CNN or something? It literally, there are garbage reporters. They literally just like will talk about the same thing for 10 days straight. Like, not even like a different part of the virus. Like, they'll just be like, oh, did Trump know earlier, and why didn't he listen to the memo? And they'll literally have like 10 people on for 10 days in a row at the same time talking about the same thing. It's so crazy. I'm like, bro, there has to be something else to talk about. Seriously.
It's really weird. It's like obviously everybody knows it's just like a really weird time to live in. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of slowly getting better. You think it's getting better. We'll get into that in a second. Yeah. But it's like it feels weird, like the world has literally stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird to say.
Track of going back.
Exactly, and it's not even like because most people, like, if they were expecting like the world to literally stop, you would expect like maybe like a war, especially in this day and age when almost every single country in the world has like nuclear like missiles and power and stuff like that. It's like it makes sense to be like it's like it kind of would be a theory like, oh yeah, the next thing that's gonna happen would be like, you know, an all-out global war that would stop like time, like that would like everyone, you know, will be set back. You know, it was always a thing in the beginning where it's like Korea and shit like that. But who would have thought the thing that would set people back would be like a pandemic?
Yeah.
It was kind of like if anybody said this like to anybody, like if somebody went back to the past and told like any of us, I doubt any of us would believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I doubt anybody would ever believe that we would be hit by a pandemic.
And that's part of the problem too. The fact that like it's okay that we don't know, but the fact that there's people who are in charge of our lives that like, because people have said stuff like this before, and it's just like no one ever thought like, nah, man, it's not gonna happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we're so consumed with everything else that we have going on, and that puts it into perspective. Like, what's the world like of fighting over territories and all that if people can't even go outside and like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like.
Wait, wasn't there a thing like a few years ago where Bill Gates had like a TED Talk press conference type of thing, and he predicted that the next thing that would be stopping us would be like a global pandemic?
Yeah, and the thing about that is a lot of people are using that as a base to have a conspiracy like, oh, Bill Gates is behind this whole thing. But it's kind of retarded because people don't realize Bill Gates is a billionaire whose life right now is like disease like control and all that, or just like experiment, like just like studying and researching disease, right? That's where most goes into. Bill Gates doesn't know shit about what a pandemic is. He learns from experts around him. So if Bill Gates predicts a pandemic happening, it's not Bill Gates knowing what will happen in the future or him planning something. It's him listening to the experts around him. So it's like
Mm.
they're like, how would have Bill Gates known? And now he's the one doing the vaccines. That means he's behind the whole thing. And this was an elaborate plan for him to like to infect the world and then sell them a vaccine or something, or like force them to get a vaccine. But it's like, don't you realize that like Bill Gates wouldn't have known anything if he didn't listen to his experts? Like
Mm.
he's not a biologist. He's an entrepreneur and a businessman.
Who dropped out of college?
Exactly. It's like this idea is so ridiculous that he would just because he talked about it like before, he wasn't the only person to talk about it. He's probably the most prominent person to talk about it. But
Mm-hmm.
people were warning that like a pandemic would be like a real issue if it broke out anytime during the future because just how connected the world is. Because we all live in like we live separate from each other. We all live in like kind of like one neighborhood, the whole world really.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the difference between China and here when literally before this, it was millions of people coming in and out of China to America like every single day, or like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
India or just Australia. Like it's everyone is in contact. There's no
Yeah,
difference
yeah.
between
There's the entire world is interweaved. It's
yeah,
even if you like to say that every single country is like its own place, every single place has its own like culture, background, all that crap. But then
yeah,
the thing is that you gotta understand too that people come and go literally every single minute, every single hour, every single day,
exactly,
at
exactly.
all times. You know how many planes like are just like in the air, probably like, well, not currently, but at a given
Yeah,
moment, like maybe before
hmm,
this, obviously, at a
exactly.
given moment. Not even just that, trains, buses, like freaking cars, bikes, literally everything. We're always moving constantly.
Cargo
So
ships with like stuff products in there. Like everything we have is like how much does every country really produce of everything that it uses? Like America is like gross domestic product is like very like low compared to like China or something. You know what I'm saying? Like we get so much stuff from China or just like any other countries in general. Like the idea that like any country could be isolated is actually crazy, which is like kind of
yeah.
what a lot of people are saying after this. They're like, oh, maybe should the world be this globalized? Like maybe that's part of the issue of why something like this happened. And I think the problem is more we should do a better job like tracking to make sure something doesn't come up. But just saying that we should like start isolating each other and not having as much
That's
thing is like
impossible.
a ridiculous decision.
It's impossible to say that we need to isolate each other because the thing is, a lot of like different infrastructures are built off of not getting stuff from your own country, but from getting stuff from outside of your own country. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I think the
yeah,
whole point is, I think it's better to, I think this should be a thing where we say, instead of trying to make the world separate, we should bring it maybe even closer
bring
than
it together.
before and try to
Exactly.
work together instead of just being
Yeah,
like, all right, I'm gonna go to my own, I'm gonna go back to my own country and, what's it called? Think of some other bullshit how to fix this. You can go do whatever the hell you want. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah. Even like in class like in one of my classes we were talking about how like the reason why like America can produce stuff that we don't produce, but the thing is, there's like always a trade-off, right? So like the time that you spend or the resources you spend on producing something means you're not producing something else. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like another country producing like let's say shoes, right? America can probably produce shoes, but maybe if India makes the shoes or China makes the shoes, right? Those shoes, what America loses by not making shoes would be like not making like technology for like medicine or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
another
yeah.
country, if they don't make the shoes, they lose less of that. So it's like the country that loses the most from doing something will be the one that just trades for it, and the country
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
that like loses the least from doing something will be the one that sells it and produces it,
mm-hmm.
and that's how things happen like efficiently. So thinking that there will be a world where we could just produce our own things is ridiculous.
No, yeah. The thing is, like, think about how much things you use on a daily basis. Think how the thing is, it's not even like like your cups and your plates and shit like that. It's like think about the stuff that's more like complicated. Like think you got a computer, right? A computer has like so many freaking hardware and like components, right? But then you can go even to a smaller scale and then take up one of those like just like a simple like fan or something. Even that has more stuff within it. So it's like even something
Exactly.
like it's like impossible to make absolutely everything yourself. And then also on top of that, it's not just your country doing it, it's every single country
Everybody,
doing it.
exactly.
The thing is, at that point it'll just be a failure, because if a country can't produce something as well as something else as another country, then they're in the same problem. They're in the same like predicament. They're just gonna they may as well have just like traded for it. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Exactly. Because like I don't know, that whole idea was actually just ridiculous. That
Yeah,
people even.
no. And then, oh my, like, the conspiracy theories are like, let's talk about that for a second. The conspiracy theories are absolutely like out of this
Are
world.
you even sure you want to talk about that, or is it just an absolute waste of time? Or
The
I don't
thing
know.
is, the
What
thing
have
is,
you
it's kind
heard?
of funny. It's kind of funny that people
But the
actually
thing,
think this way.
but the thing is, it's not just like before. It was just like what some people thought, like they were just conspiracy theorists, right? But now it's literally like it's becoming like a very, very like vocal minority. We're just like a lot of people, and it's just like people just sending like stuff on Facebook, WhatsApp, and just like
Yeah, I
everyone
know.
fears that they know what it is. Like even like relatives and stuff like that, they'll come and be like, "Yeah, did you know this?" And I'm like, "How do you know that?" And then they're just like, "Oh, I watched the video on it." And I'm like, "Is that what research is? Like, is that journalism? Just watching a video?" Like, can't anybody else just watch a video? What is watching a video actually
Then
do?
it's like okay, if you watched the video, then why couldn't have Donald Trump watched the video and realize
That's
what
what
the
I'm
hell was going
saying.
on?
That's why I'm like, and then they're like, oh no, this guy is a good guy, and I'm like, so are you sitting here trying to tell me that like everyone, like, don't get me wrong, I know the world is right. There's a lot of real shady stuff that's done all over the place by all kinds of people. But like, are you gonna tell me that every doctor is corrupt and knows that the disease is fake and they're just going along with it? Are you gonna tell me every nurse is just lying? Like you don't know any doctors. You don't have any friend doctors or any like.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Are they
That
all just lying?
that's like absolutely crazy to me.
Exactly.
There's actually a theory that, or whatever, conspiracy bullshit, that every single doctor and like world leader is in on this pandemic.
Exactly.
The thing is,
Like they're not losing money.
how does that make any sense?
No sense
See,
at all. It doesn't.
think about something even on a, like, think about this on a simple scale, right? Look at this. Pretend
Mhm.
like a video game company or a production company, like making a movie or making like making anything like for the media, right? As some type of entertainment. So if you get like, pretend either like a TV show, movie, or video game. When it comes to those things, even no matter how much they try to keep the secret in, there's
Yeah.
always a way that it gets out. There's
Oh,
always a
great
leak.
point.
There's
Great point.
100% always a leak. So
Great point.
that's on a very, very small scale. Like a small company can't even keep a secret within. And this isn't even like a big deal. It's like, oh, they're making a new freaking like Call of Duty game, and then
Yep.
like within like 1 week, there's already like a tweet, some guy tweeting out like, "Hey guys, making the new Call of Duty game, haha, just on my computer." Like, you're telling me that that every single person on the entire planet can pull that off, but a small
Exactly.
company can't?
That was actually like one of the best points I've ever heard. Like to counter that, it's just like
The scale is
literally
too
they can't even.
large.
Yeah, the people can't even hide what the next iPhone is going to be. Then it could just crash the market and cause a global pandemic with like a market failure around the world and just like all these issues, deaths, and all that. And it'll just all be fake and it'll just be a well-contained secret that only a few conspiracy theorists on YouTube like have the access to. And then it's like there's like literally two figureheads. I know their names, but I don't even want to like
Like
I can
Fauci or
find it.
whatever.
No, Fauci is the dude for the government. There's these two disgruntled doctors, right? Former doctors, right? They both had their medical licenses stripped away from them, right? And
Revoked.
they're both like
Oh
investigated
no.
like one of them was even jailed before, but now they're claiming that like they work with diseases and all that, and that they know like the inside scoop of it, right? And they become like the two figureheads for like this whole conspiracy movement and all that, and they're the people that people trust and all that. But I'm like, are you telling me that your two best sources, your two best reliable sources are two people who literally have been like stripped of their license because of ethics reasons, because they were proved to be unethical, and were literally told they couldn't practice their medicine anymore. And they claim that they got their licenses taken away from them because they were whistleblowers and that the establishment found out. And I'm like, But do you mean to tell me that an establishment that was so powerful that they were able to like ruin their lives and discredit them won't be able to shut them up in the middle of a pandemic? Because like
Mm-hmm.
if they're the ones ringing their alarm and they're telling me the establishment is like dangerous and they know how to contain a virus and they know how to do all of this, but then they let you go on TV and get millions of views for your conspiracy video about this, right? And they're just leaving you alive and you're just freely going on all these TV shows. What
Mm-hmm.
happened to them being like going around and just like getting people that spoke out or something. Like, wouldn't you think it would involve like assassinating or like just silencing people that were talking?
Mm-hmm. Because this
Like
is
the
a
way,
huge deal. This isn't like a small conspiracy. This
yeah,
is like a small little like, oh, we have to cover up this little like accident that some big head like did. No, this is the entire
yeah,
world trying to freaking kill people. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
exactly. And this is gonna be like the impacts of this is gonna be like tremendous throughout the rest of humanity, bro. Like it literally won't. It like there's nothing like you know what I'm saying. There's the effects of this will be felt forever.
mm-hmm,
Like
hundred
people
percent, hundred
don't
percent.
understand that in 2008, when the market crashed, the American economy, like the government put out $3 trillion in relief into the stock market, right? Out of government money, right, to help boost the market back up. They said it was a once in a lifetime event that they'll never have to do again. So they exhausted every single last penny that they had reserved, right? Went into so much debt just to pay for that. And then you're telling me what's 2008? This is like what 12 years later that now
Mm,
again they have to come back and they have to spend, and they said this year alone they've already in the past 2 months they've spent 3 trillion more dollars
holy
in this whole like
shit!
COVID relief thing. That's
Oh
twice
my
in one generation. They said it wouldn't happen for another 100 years. That's twice in less than 20 years. The government literally is going broke, right? And
holy
the future
shit!
generations of America are going to feel the impacts of all of this stuff. It's going to come back. All this money that they borrowed, all this money they printed, all the inflation, all of it's going to come back. Things will never be the same again. And you're telling me people are just doing it because Bill Gates wants to do something or Fauci has something? Like that's absolutely like that's bonkers to me. That's bonkers to me. It's too much at risk. It's not just a few people not going to work. It's the whole
It's
economy
it's the
stop.
it's the it's not even that. It's the entire world.
Our world stop exactly. Like I remember one of the saddest quotes I heard from this whole thing was in the beginning of this whole thing. I remember the president of Brazil. He said that like they're like, why aren't you like issuing a stay-at-home order? And he's like, literally, like he just flat out says that like we can't afford to stay at home because if we don't go out, if COVID doesn't kill us, then hunger is gonna kill us because we don't have enough money to feed our people. And we
Mm-hmm.
either have to choose either we're gonna die of hunger or we're gonna die, or some people are gonna die of COVID. That's one of the saddest things to come to realize. So
And
like,
think about that.
you,
That's not even coming from a good person. That's coming from the
yeah,
president of Brazil, one of the shittiest per people like to live
exactly, but
currently.
it's and that's like, but that even with him, it's still the reality of what they face. Like
Exactly.
a lot
Exactly.
of people think, like countries, what do you countries to shut down? Who's going to pay for them? Who's going to pay for their light bill? Who's going to pay for their electricity, like in their rent? Who's going to pay for that?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're sitting here bubbly in America, and our government is giving us like unemployment and like tax cut paybacks and all that on these funds, and people are just like, oh yeah, I'm complaining. Like even if you're losing money right now, you're in a way better situation than like
100%.
95.
100%.
Exactly, and we're just so spoiled to just like not even
Like
be able to appreciate that.
even though it's like like even within America, like the middle class people, like most of them who like work, who have to work like paycheck to paycheck or or like
Yeah,
maybe every other paycheck, they're basically like screwed.
better off than 95, like 90, more than 90% of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the American middle class, the American lower class, like people that like bro, most of the American population is living above like most of the world. Like that's
Yeah,
that's a
100%. Yeah,
given
yeah, yeah.
fact. It's a given fact. Like, and it's like I don't know, man. Like people can't even now. People are like, oh, I'm losing money for my business. Like it's unfortunate. It's so sad. It's horrible, right? But you can't just pretend like you're the only one
It's
suffering.
not happening to other
Yeah.
people. Yeah, yeah.
Did I send you the thing with the Texas lady with the hair salon that the
No.
judge asked her to close her salon, or and she was supposed to go to jail, right? So she had a salon that was open, even though they had a stay-at-home order, right? She opened it
Mm-hmm.
before they even opened the states back, right? And then she had her employees come in there having customers. The police came in and gave her a warning for 3 days straight. She kept opening it back up the next day. Just kept opening it back up, right? So then they eventually had to arrest her. So then they brought her in front of a judge, right? And then they said that like they're like, why didn't you listen? Like, imagine this was for 7 days. I'm sorry, it was for 7 days that she opened,
Oh,
right?
7 days
So,
straight. Damn.
yeah, yeah. So mind you, they gave her leeway, and then she's in front of the judge, right? And then the judge is like, you're not the only one suffering. What? Like, just close your shop. Mind you, Texas opened back up. Was opening back up in the next 10 days, right?
Yeah.
So all she had to do was wait for 10 more days, and she could legally open back up. But she's just like, she just wanted to make a protest. So then the judge is like, all right, all this is in the past, right? I'll give you a $7,000 fine, $1,000 for every day that you open where you weren't supposed to, right? And then I'll like just like, and I'll make you go to jail for 10 days, right? Or I'll just forgive you if you just apologize and you shut your shop down, right? This lady had the arrogance to stand in front of the judge and say that I'd rather go to jail for these 10 days than to shut my shop down for the
Okay,
next 10 days,
you deserve not
which
to not even have your shop
that's
after the
what I'm
freaking thing
saying.
opens up.
And mind you, this is the judge forgiving her. He's like, I'm not even gonna make you go to jail. I'm gonna be lenient, even though you're being selfish and you're doing all that. I'm gonna be lenient and let you like go back home to your family. Because she claims that the only reason she's opening her shop is that she has to feed her kids. But then it came out later, like in digging stuff up, that she got like some kind of like government relief loan or something like that for her business. So she
Oh
wasn't
my
even
god.
operating from a
So
position where she could do it.
she was fine. She was chilling.
She was fine. Like maybe she wasn't making as much money as she wanted, but no one is. She wasn't gonna lose her shop. And then she says that her employees weren't getting paid. She got money from the government so she could pay her employees. And her like there's unemployment. And I'm not saying everyone's getting at the right time. Like people are struggling. That's the nature of a crisis. It is a crisis. You know what I'm saying? Americans are
Hmm.
just so spoiled that they can't even understand what a crisis is. It's crazy.
And then okay, so then there's like it's not even that. There's the other things that obviously like in the beginning the rules weren't as strict, right? It was like okay, stay at home, and then it was like okay, if you have to go out like for essential stuff, make sure you're wearing a mask and gloves and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
Keep your distance, social distance. Do as much as you can. You know, keep washing. You know, use hand sanitizer and shit like that, right? And then the amount of people that are like protesting the social distancing and that are like what's it called the people who are going out like they're just like not for like any essential thing, just like I'm gonna go to the park, or like I'm gonna go chill with the boys, I'm gonna go
Go
like
to the beach.
all this bullshit. There's a lot of, because the thing is, I can understand you want to go out, right? I can understand like there's a lot of there's, even if you want to go to a park, it's still possible to like social distance. The beaches, that's a whole different topic. That's literally absolutely like that's bullshit. The amount of people that are going there, but like I've seen so many videos of it's all white people. It's all white people. I'm gonna put that out there to every single person. It's all white people. These stuff specifically. They're like one video specifically I saw was like this white woman and like these moms, right, and their kids. They went to like a playground, right, and then the cops. There was one cop there. He came down. He was like, "All right, I'm not arresting you. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just telling you guys, please, just as a warning, you guys can't be here. You know, we're still under, you know, the stay, like not there wasn't a stay at home order, that this thing was closed. It's like the rest of the park is open, the grass is open, you can go, you can walk around, but the playground specifically and all this equipment is closed. You are not allowed to use this." And they were like furious. Like they were all these white moms started recording on their phones, and they were like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna record this, I'm gonna post this on Facebook and get you, like, you know, you're gonna be done after this. I can't believe you're doing this."
That's so like, classic of American like white privilege, bro. Like where they're just like the smallest thing, and they'll just like that's outrage. And if you want to
burst.
And you want to do a contrast to what's been happening recently, is that a lot of like minority communities are being like you know how many videos I've seen like in the past week of like black people getting beat up by the cops for not following social distancing rules,
so much,
where they're actually getting like there's these cops that are, first of all, you're telling people to social distance, but then you're literally throwing them on the ground and beating them up, like getting mad close to them and all that, right? And like they're just like, even this little kid, like I saw this little kid like in a subway that was like trying to sell candy. This was like
that was because of COVID.
a month ago. Huh?
That was because of COVID?
Yeah, that was because of COVID, because he wasn't wearing a mask and he wasn't supposed to be. Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that video.
Yeah, they were slamming the kid on the ground. There were like three cops like putting their legs on their knees on his back and all that.
Tell the viewers real quick, for context, by a kid, there wasn't like a teenager. No, this kid looked like he was like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah,
Like
He was with his mom.
he was sus. This is a small child trying to sell candy for his family, bro.
He was trying to
It's
sell candy on the train. And I'm like, okay, yes, he wasn't supposed to be doing that, right? But there's no reason for you to be putting the little kid in cuffs or for you to be throwing him on the ground like that. And then if that's how they're treating him and they're saying like, oh, but they're not blitzing in time of crisis. But then you, like you said, then you go to this contrast of them being like, oh, you can just go to the park, just don't go to this one area. And now all these moms are just gathering and just like,
yeah,
oh,
no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
report you and I'm gonna. You see how different the reality like lives people live. Like one, there's like 7-year-old kids getting thrown on the floor in like the middle of like the subway and all that, and just like having like, mind you, this was like 4 or 5 police officers that was all on one little kid. Like, why
Yeah,
do you
no,
need
there was a lot of them.
to hold one kid?
You
Like,
just need one. You just need one dude.
I
Just be
can hold
like,
that child. I could literally hold that child in a way where he wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
bro, you can probably just be nice to the child and he'll probably listen to you. You can probably be like, hey, yo, kid, I'm sorry, you can't be doing this. If you want to, you're gonna have to get like gloves and a mask. But I don't want to do anything to you. I don't want to, I don't want to make this a problem. Just like, can't do this.
You could have reasoned with him. The only reason he's a child if he feels threatened, because there's 4 5 large adults with guns on them that he's never met in his life, literally holding him by the wrist and trying to hold him and and put him on the ground and all that. Like, of course he's
And
gonna
put a
start
hand.
freaking out. He's a
And
kid.
they started like dragging him up the stairs. This dude's crying. This dude's screaming. Like, it's a little kid, bro.
And they're like, oh, the only reason we treated him like that is because he wasn't cooperating. But it's a child, and he doesn't.
He
know
can't
you, and you're
cooperate
holding
in the
him.
first place. He's a kid, bro.
And his mom is crying, like yelling, and all he sees is mom crying, and like 4 strangers just grabbing him, and like he sees like they're being rough with him and all that. He's a child, of course he's gonna react like that. But when that shows that when you're black or when you're just like a minority to them, you're not a child anymore. You're just a black guy, or just a black person, just not listening to them. Doesn't matter that you're a 7-year-old kid or whatever it is. It's just
all the bullshit that white people have said across like every single like throughout the years of them saying white privilege is not a thing. If you do not see that white privilege is apparent during this like pandemic, then honestly I have no faith in you or humanity or white people at all anymore. It's sad. Even like in the video I was saying about like, this them being on the playground, the cops are trying to reason with them so much. Yeah. They even brought like the park manager, and the park manager's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I have this area closed. I hope you do realize that the virus stays. It's for your safety, and the virus, I'm pretty sure, stays on plastic for a long time. So even if we've cleaned it, like it can come back after, it can live for a long time on plastic. So it's just a betterment of you. And the only reason they kept saying, we just wanted to be outside, we wanted to let our kids play in the sun. Like, okay, bro, but this isn't about you and your kids anymore. I 100% guarantee if you told your kids, I'm sorry, it's really dangerous, we can't do this, if you reason with your children, they'll listen. Why are you even more stubborn than your children?
Yeah, because they feel entitled to stuff. That's just the reality of it. They are entitled to things because that's what society tells them every day.
The thing is that it makes sense for everybody to feel like entitled for something. You know what I mean? Everyone is entitled to have like respect or have the thing that they've paid for. They've 100% paid the taxes for it. But the thing is, you gotta understand that you're not the only one entitled to it. Everyone is entitled to it. Meaning that at this current time, you should put that on the back burner and wait for like everything to blow over. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, people are losing their livelihoods and all that, and you can't stay home like because of a playground. Like, that doesn't even sound right. People are just 100%.
100%. She could afford just installing a playground in her backyard, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you don't have a backyard or something, it's just like they didn't even say you have to leave the park. They just said just
get off the playground. Just get off the plastic playground. Go walk around in the freaking grass or lay down somewhere. Like, that's it. The cop had to like arrest her. Like, the cop arrested her only because like she started getting up. Yeah, they started arrest this, but not even like I doubt the cop wanted to arrest her. The cop put her in,
like detained her or something.
Yeah, he detained her. He put her in cuffs and started walking away. He probably just wanted to get her off the playground. But then everybody started coming up to them. Like, there was when one of the people like turned around, like with whoever was recording, Like that was a shit ton of people in the first. You're not even social distancing in the first place, bro. There's like hundreds of you there.
Yeah. It's actually it's genuinely sad. My biggest concern, like honestly, the thing that breaks my heart the most in all of this, really, are all of the medical workers that are dying. Because can you imagine like families losing like their like fathers and daughters and like brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles because other people, because like that's the ultimate sacrifice, knowing that like I'm going to work, right, and I can at any point become infected. Like early on in this, like in the first few weeks of this and all that, there was a story that I heard of like this doctor, and he was talking about how like he was infected, right, and he literally worked, like he died like 4 days after he stopped working, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that means
Damn.
that like it only took him 4 days after he stopped working to die. So that means that he probably was infected and was working with it for like a while. Like he worked basically till he died. And
Mm-hmm.
like these are people that are, and it's not like it's a one-off thing where it's just a few people. Even in Mount Sinai, like here in New Jersey, they already have like I think it was like 8 doctors or 7 doctors that are dead. They're dead. They wouldn't
Damn.
be dead if COVID-19 didn't exist and people weren't coming and they just chose not to go to work. These are people putting their lives online every day just for them, at least just knowing that they care enough for you. If you happen to get sick by any way that you couldn't avoid, they would have been there to save you. I would have wanted to at least protect them by at least just following the rules. Because
Mm-hmm.
like if they're willing to protect me and like and help me, like if I was to get sick, you can't stay at home and just avoid going to the park so you won't put them at a higher risk because if you get sick, the more people are sick, the higher risk they're at. They run out of
Mm-hmm.
equipment, then they have to like practice things in like an unsafe manner, and then they get like they're more likely to get infected and all that. Like it's just like I feel so bad for like all these healthcare workers that are actually getting sick and actually dying when it's like it's not their fault that this is
And
happening.
it's not even them themselves. Like they come into contact with so many other people. And mind you, there's more patients than just COVID-19 patients. Like they could get sick too. Like,
Yeah,
and then they have to. These medical workers have to go back home to their families, and
yeah,
then they gotta make sure they stay
exactly.
away. They have to stay away from their families within their own houses. They gotta social
You know,
distance
most of them have sent their
within their
families
own
away. Like,
family.
obviously, not everyone can do that, but like every medical worker and stuff like that, if you can, they're like, if you can send them to like go live with like their aunt or their grandmother or like anyone else that could take care of them during this time. So you know how
Mm-hmm.
many people are just out their kids right now and are
Mm-hmm.
just like they sent them to go live in another state or with like another relative or somewhere else. Like that's hard. That's so much sacrifice that they're making for you not to be able to sacrifice not opening
You're
your
not,
hair
and
salon
then
for
you
2 more
can, and then
days.
there, at least you're able to stay at home with your family. You know what I mean? Like, I go
Exactly.
ahead and spend time with them within your own house, bro. Like, go find. You can find something to do within your house. All right. There's definitely
And no
things
one
that you
said
can
it's gonna
do.
be easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course it's
It's
gonna.
not meant to be easy. This the thing is, you gotta
Yeah,
know this is a temporary thing. We'd hope for it to be a temporary thing, but it can be fixed even more faster with the entire world's cooperation. You know what I mean?
yeah, and
And this is another
I
point
mean,
too. If the world can't even cooperate to freaking come together and just stay at home, how is the world? How is the world leader supposed to cooperate to like make this for this conspiracy bullshit? Like, there's another
yeah,
point
exactly.
too. We can't even
Yeah,
stay at home. How can the world like make this fake? You know what I mean? Like, how can they like create a pandemic on purpose?
that's true.
And there are a lot of people dying, bro. New Jersey just hit over 10K.
Yeah,
We're like 10,100, like 35 or something like that. That's like people are saying the trend is going down, but bro, the number, I don't know, man.
yeah, and then okay, so let's make the second half right. So our first half we're going at people. Oh, I don't know if we're halfway through or something, but let's
It's
also
30,
talk about
35
how
minutes.
let's also talk about how like crooked people are, right? And how the like people have made like us so like we don't trust them so much that we can't even trust like the government and all that. Like there's the overreaction of being stupid and just being like, oh, this junk is fake and all that. And then there's just like the reality of things because now things are like officially are coming out that like that they're saying that like with whole like China knew for like months ahead and it could have been something that they've known like maybe like 5 or 6 months that they knew was prevalent and they were letting people travel because they weren't trying to like hurt their stocks, so they were letting people travel, didn't anybody know about it until the point where it just spread throughout the whole world, and then when it was too late it was just like, oh yeah, so by the way guys, we've had a pandemic for like then they'll like, oh, we've had it for like a month and we're like locking it down. When they know that they've been sending sick people out for all this time, so now all the data is just like janky because no one knows what the true numbers are. And then
Oh my
like even like
god.
a month ago, China was saying that they had like zero cases, or like they said they were like zero cases in Wuhan and only had like a few cases throughout the whole country. And now it's surfacing that they were lying and that they do have a lot more cases that they're letting on. Like this is so horrible. Like how scummy can people be? Like these are scums. These are like the people that would do something like this. I'm not talking about any group or anything. I'm talking about this the people specifically in charge of doing stuff like this are the scum of the earth. Like they'll literally put so many people's lives and so just everyone in the world is in danger just for the smallest benefits. Like people are truly evil. Like, and then there's this thing that like people are, like that's what I'm saying. The whole conspiracies were just like, oh, it's the 5G towers or something. Those are stupid. But when people are like investigating and they're like, where did this whole thing start from and all that? And then people are like, maybe it could be like some kind of like they're working on a cure, and then something like so they weren't able to contain it, and then it just took off like slowly and slowly until like people were just spreading it. And instead of being responsible and sounding their alarm of letting the world know that like, oh, we have an issue on our hands over here, like help
They
us
just
in
like
fixing it, they just covered it up. Like I don't have like all the proof to say this or something like that, but I have like a strong inclination that I'm not saying like China would start a disease to hurt anybody, but it could have been an accident, right? But an accident, when you don't fix your mistake when you do it and you just let it run its course by trying to like hide it from people, you start becoming responsible for what it's done. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
hundred
do you
percent,
get
hundred
where I'm
percent.
going with this? I'm not saying like China fabricated a disease to cripple the world or something like that. That's ridiculous, right? That doesn't make any sense. But if there was something on the part of like Chinese like researchers or something like that, or labs, or something like was like they failed to contain
Contain
something
it.
and it leaked out, yeah, and then it started to like spread, and instead of like of letting like you know what everything I just said,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
letting
yeah, yeah,
everyone
yeah,
in
yeah,
on
yeah,
it,
yeah.
yeah, like that would just be so sad if that turns out to be the case. That would just be so sad. I'd be supremely disappointed, like for real.
100%,
I don't
hundred
have every
percent.
proof for that. So you see how I speak like in vague terms. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be one
yeah.
of the people that doesn't know, but it's just like, no, I know what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm just saying like that's what a lot of things are starting to suggest. And it's just like it's sad just the thought of that even that could be true. It's like really sad.
Fact that people like it's like you here saying that okay, this may be true, take it with a grain of salt, please. Other
Yeah,
people are like
thank
they
you,
just
thank you. Yeah,
they see
that's exactly
something
what I'm
off
saying.
of like freaking WhatsApp and they're like, oh okay, now I'm an expert
Yeah,
at freaking
exactly.
COVID-19. Listen to me, don't listen to anybody else. Like no,
Yep.
dude.
You won't get the truth anywhere else but me right here. Yeah,
Like
I'm just like your average Joe, but I know better than all these bio majors and all these people that went to school for like 8 years of their life and have been doing this their whole life. Yeah, I know better than all of them because I
Like, no,
watched the
you
video. You
really
didn't watch the
don't,
video.
homie. You, I just watched a YouTube video on it. Now
Yep,
I'm an
and you didn't watch
expert.
the
Like,
video.
no,
Yep.
shut the fuck up. You dumbass piece of shit. You don't know
Yeah.
crap. All right, fuck off.
So,
No,
no,
no. People need to know. People need to
no,
freaking know. They're fucking stupid as shit.
no, but seriously, yeah, that's like that's so ridiculous, and it's like, oh man, that's not how research works. That's not how you prove something. You don't just watch one thing and know. You just can't know like that.
There is
You
years and
genuinely have to,
years and years of research
yeah.
till you
If
realize, like, just things. But
like people are like, oh, it's 5G towers. I'm like, what is 5G? What's the difference between 4G and 5G? Explain it to me right now. And then they'll be like, it's faster. I'm like, okay, but explain to me how it's different. Like, what's the difference between the structure of it between 4G and like connection and 5G? And they're just like, oh, I don't really know.
okay,
Like, I
yeah,
just know that it's
yeah,
what's
it proves
causing
a
the
point.
virus. Like, why are you exactly? Why are you speaking on it?
Who
Like,
are you? Please explain to me.
and then I'm like, okay, you're saying this right. The disease started in 2020. When did they start implementing 5G? And they're just like, I think this year. That's not true. People have been like, AT&T was putting 5G towers up back in 2012. That's the first time I ever even heard the
Oh
term
damn.
5G.
Okay.
Exactly, because I remember I watched a show called Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and I remember he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
like a
yeah. I
whole
know him.
segment on 5G, and he was like talking about it, and this was back in like 20 like not 2012, but like 2013, maybe early like 2014, but it was around that time. And it was talking about how AT&T had been doing it for years already, and how like the future of the world was going to change and all that. So out of nowhere, a pandemic arises. Like two or three people start hearing about 5G, and now everyone's just like, "Oh, I'm the
Mm-hmm.
5G expert, and I know how 5G works." Like what? You don't even know how long it's been going on for. How come you didn't say anything about it back in 2014 when they started putting them up? It's just like
Like, bro, you
everything.
really don't know. You don't have to be like. There's nothing wrong with you not knowing anything. I don't know why people think they have to like be the person to know something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
true.
Like I feel like people.
Yeah,
It's like it makes sense for an expert to be like, no, you guys should listen to me. I'm the one that
yeah,
knows like what I'm talking about. Like
yeah.
if it makes sense for them to have that type of pride because they that's their line of work.
They've invested into it. They've given
Yeah.
their time. They've had sleepless nights studying. They've You know how hard it is to do like that kind of work for just someone to undermine you by being like, "Oh, I watched the video for 20 minutes for 10 minutes."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, bro, I've been working in this for the last 35 years. Like my wife left me because I'm so consumed by my work. And you've just watched like a 15-minute video and you just know everything about it, don't you, huh? It's like it's crazy.
It's like you don't have to be prideful over something you don't know. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fine to not know. It's okay, homie. Like it's not that big
Everyone's
a
scared.
deal.
And everyone is scared. Like you don't have to like come up with the answer. That's what people do in every single situation.
They it's like, bro, come on. Just chill out. Chill out. Just like, take a chill pill.
And
Stay
yeah,
at home.
and we don't want to
Stay at
seem
home.
insensitive too, huh?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't want to seem insensitive to like anyone's like personal struggle or something like that. Like we understand it's messed up. People are going through a lot, like a lot. People are going through a lot. People are suffering, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also like everyone as well. And like when all this is over, hopefully we'll come back like very strong and like we'll have. But like, what's the point of doing stuff, right? If there's no one left to like, you know what I'm saying, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to like enjoy it. Like, what's the point
Mm-hmm.
of having the money that from your business or something like that if you're dead? Like, what's the point of that? So it's like there are things more important than money at this point. You know what I'm saying? You can always recover from like a financial crisis as long as you have people there. Once you don't have people anymore, it's like, come on. You have like all these people that are dying and all that. It's just sad.
It doesn't make any sense.
And then we have our government officials that are lying about the numbers too, because it's like
Oh
now
God.
it's like Nebraska today. I just saw in the news like they're gonna stop reporting the stats from their like nursing homes. They're not gonna make them public record anymore. And literally they're like, oh well, if you want to find out like the numbers, you have to like call the nursing home, each nursing home itself, and ask them what their stats are. So they're not compiling it anymore, and they're basically doing this in an effort to like cover up like how bad it is, right? And it's like literally you lying about the numbers doesn't change the reality of it. It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's the false hope isn't a good type of hope, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. False hope doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't.
It's so sad, bro.
Yeah.
This day and age is so sad. And
And
then
Trump tweeted that what did he say? Oh, this is the dumb thing he said today.
I hate
Well, he
Trump,
didn't say it
bro.
today, but I saw the tweet today. He said the less tests that we administer, the less cases there are simple. Like, are you dead serious? Are you dead
Wait.
serious?
What did he just say?
He said the less tests, right, that we have, right, the less cases there will be. Do you understand what that means?
That means we're just not gonna test for cases.
We're just not going to know if you have it. So then we can't say we have this many cases, and we can just assume we have less cases. So
That
like, how stupid is this? Is our president? This is our commander in chief. This is the leader of our military. This is the executive branch of our government. This is him saying that today. Like that. I saw it today. He tweeted this though.
goodness gracious, I don't know what to believe in.
And so many people agree with him too. It's like a lot of people that are just like, yeah,
What do
it's
you
like
mean you
forget all the
believe?
test. And I know personally, right? Somebody, I don't know if I don't want to say his name or anything like that, but
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
we
That's
we
fine.
know him as well. And his dad got COVID. Like his dad works in a company, right? Where like
Wait, do I
three
know this
people were
person?
hospitalized, huh?
Do I know this person?
Yeah, you know this person.
Okay, okay, okay.
You've definitely met him and interacted with him before.
Okay, okay, okay.
He was a part of our last pickup game when we balled up. Remember that last time? Oh no, he wasn't. He wasn't. I'm lying. He wasn't a part of that. I don't know why I said that. He wasn't there. But you know him though.
Okay,
But
okay, okay.
anyway, his dad was hospital. His dad worked in a company, right? That was hospital where like a few people were hospitalized because
Damn.
they discovered that they had COVID, right? So then they immediately said that everybody that worked there had to get a test, right? So his dad tested positive for the disease. Now, mind you, this my friend I'm talking about. He lives in a house where like it's like his whole family lives there. Like they have like this big house, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like aunts and it's like cousins and grandparents. They all live there. Grandparents,
Mhm.
specifically the grandparents, the people that are
Mhm.
most at risk, because his grandmother has like diabetes and all that, and they're just old. They're just older people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
So they're
yeah.
very at risk. So in his dad getting a test as soon as they found out that they have it, right? They were able. His parents were able to like set up in a basement where his dad stayed isolated in there for 2 weeks until he was cleared by his doctor that he could come back. But do you understand that that potentially saved the lives of his
Yeah,
grandma?
like getting
Because
getting getting tested. Yeah.
getting tested, exactly. Because if he never got tested, he would have never known. He would have never isolated himself in a house. He lives in a big house with like at least like 10 people. How many more cases could that have been avoided just by
Oh
him knowing
damn, we
that
could
he
have had a
has it
whole house
and
just
being
full
able
of
to
them.
isolate? That's the point of testing. So if you not telling people that, oh, you have it, all that is more cases spreading. It doesn't mean that like, oh, be less cases. It'll just be more cases. We just won't know about it, and then more will be spreading until it's this bad again, and then we have to start a
Mhm.
whole other quarantine, and that's
Mhm.
not happening again. We're not going to be able to start over a whole other quarantine. The economy just can't handle it.
Oh
People are just going
no,
to
if that happens again, we're literally screwed.
we're toast. There's literally no way.
We're screwed already.
We're
Like
already
having
exactly. We're
another
already
one
toast.
literally will just mean the world's over at this point.
Yeah, or it's just like yo, just fight your way through COVID, bro. Just keep like you know what I'm saying. Just fight COVID. Whoever's going to be able to beat it, just beat it. Just come back.
Just like just go for it. Like that's it, bro.
Yeah,
At this
and
point,
then
it's just like do or die, bro. That's
and it's
it.
all fun and games when you're like, oh, some people are gonna die, but it's not fun and games when you think that, oh, my friends are gonna die, or my parents are gonna die, or my grandparents are gonna die.
Mhm.
Yeah, no one,
Mhm.
everyone is okay when it's just like, oh, some people are gonna die, and then you're just thinking about like some other people. But then when you realize that like, oh, this could be my people, then it's just people sing a different tune.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure no one whose relative really got infected with this and had to fight through it or even died from it. Ask them if they want to open back up right now. Ask them if they want to open back up right now. I
Mhm.
would be very shocked if any of them were like, yeah, I know I lost my cousin, or I lost my husband, or I lost my wife to this, but it's okay. We can just open back up because some people need to make some money.
Yeah, no, it's like it's not even like. Have you heard the amount of like freaking celebrities that have said bullshit?
Uh, Relating to what? Because
Like
I've heard some stuff.
related to COVID. I don't know that many, but I've what's her name? Just to be on High School Musical. Vanessa Hudgens, is that her name?
Vanessa Hudgens.
The main chick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did you hear the bullshit that she said?
What she said?
Oh my god, the video. I feel like I should just play the video, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I'll play
Just
it.
describe like what was she saying? Like, was it a
Well,
conspiracy, or did she just say she
no,
doesn't
no,
care who
no.
dies, just like
She
open up?
basically just said like doesn't care who dies. Like she just said like people are gonna die. It's inevitable. She's like it's sad but inevitable. Like what?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
That's
people are gonna
like
die, but if people are dying, but we're doing our best to keep them from dying, then that's better than just like
I think
being.
she was specifically mad about how much attention it was getting in the media.
Yeah,
Bro,
another
like it
example of these kind of people.
you're after High School Musical you are done, bro. Now you're even more so gone.
Yeah,
You have lost your goddamn mind, woman.
yeah.
That is not something that you should be like disappointed about. There's nothing we can do about it. Literally nothing. What do you want me to do? Explain.
It's all like they're all mad because they get to they have to sit in their $1 million homes and just like know that they're everything, even like everything going on, they're probably losing money, but what's losing like a few millions to people that have like a lot of money? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're
It's
not.
like
What about the families that literally can't even pay their light bill? They're the ones that's really going through it, or
really
can't even
saying
pay for like their next month's rent, and they're thinking about that. And you're like in your position and you're just like, well, I'm just annoyed at how much they're talking about it on TV.
And it's
Like,
like, oh my
what? You know,
god. Like, it doesn't matter. It literally now, it's like, now's not the time. There's nothing there's nothing else that we can do. It's like, okay, it's like, all that bullcrap is all like, I can, like, there's some, like, nice things that, like, come out of this, there's, like, the people, like, waking up at 7 o'clock to go, all these, like, white Karens being like, okay, guys, we need to make sure we support our healthcare workers, so that what they do is they wake up at 7 o'clock to go outside and to clap their hands for 5 seconds, like, okay, I've done my good deed for today. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a pretty nice gesture, but, like, really? That's all that they get? All they get is you clapping your hands, or like the celebrity singing a song on freaking Instagram. Like, that's what they get? That's not what they need. They're dying.
That's so sad, too.
Bro. Like, oh my god. It just sucks, man. It just sucks. It's so sad.
But pray for the world, man. Hopefully.
Everyone needs to. One quick. Are we basically done with this discussion?
Yeah. How much have you ran for?
It's 50 minutes. 50 minutes.
Or 50 minutes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys heard our take, You
guys heard our take on this. I guess you have any last thoughts?
Just everyone learn from this. People should have better hygiene skills to begin with. So if this means that everyone's going to be walking around with hand sanitizer for the foreseeable future and all that, then just everyone try to stay safe. Like, everyone's praying for the world right now. Let's do our best, and, like, what I'm saying, like, there will be an end to this. I can't tell you when, and none of us know when, but, like, there will be an end to this, and, like, what I'm saying? At that point, we can start worrying about all the other things. But, like, just keep staying healthy and all that. That's what's really important right now.
Damn, you got to end it off being all enthusiastic and optimistic. I'm about to be like, all right, guys. I was about to say that. Press F to pay respects to all the homies, and fuck you, Karen.
Fuck you, Karen. And Karen isn't a person. She's a symbol.
Yeah, for all you fucking white bitches out there.
Yo, after we're done with this, I'm gonna send you, like, Karen raids videos. Like, white women are so aggressive. I never knew in my life.
Yo,
They're
they
scary.
Alright,
I saw one. Did you see the video where she was, like, drop kicking a door, like, of some dude in traffic, and she started, like, kicking his door and, like, punching his windshield?
Holy shit!
Because he honked at her.
Oh my god.
She was crossing the street, right? And I don't know what happened, but I think, like, honked at her or something. And she literally started, like, she came back and she started, like, drop kicking his door, like, doing flip kicks on the door and, like, trying to open it. It was so crazy.
Oh my god.
I was like, she's an actual thug. Like, that lady was a thug, for real.
You white people need some help. Alright, guys. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. That's true. We do. We do.
Just be tripping. So fuck Karen.
Besides you, Karen. Alright, guys. Peace out.